Hey all, Holly Warner here, back at it with videos. Okay, so we're going to continue our oxalate series. Today's topic's going to be about oxalates, your gallbladder, if you've had your gallbladder removed, gastric bypass surgery, and how this has to do with oxalates. So let's not forget leaky gut, because all of this plays in together. Now, as far as leaky gut goes, or intestinal permeability, most of the population does tend to have this, I have noticed. So it stands to reason that if you've got a leaky gut, you've got intestinal permeability meaning you've got little holes, little spaces, the tight junctures are no longer tight, shit's leaking out, shit's getting in, it's not a good time for anybody. And some of the stuff that's going to be getting out and getting in is going to be oxalates. And that's bad. Let me explain why. I had a patient, just one patient, and they had had a bariatric surgery. They had had gastric bypass. And after which, I was expecting to have some leaky gut. I was expecting to have some issues with the gut bacteria. Any kind of a stressor is obviously going to knock out our gut bacteria. But what I did notice when we ran a specific test, which was an organic acids test, was that her level of oxalates was through the roof, which possibly could have been there before, except for we had tested before and her levels were not that high. So it stood to reason that, all right, maybe I should take a peek to see if there's any kind of literature out there to support this. And there actually was, which I thought was really cool because I had never, ever heard of this before until now. So we look at it and there's an invasive surgery, and it is a pretty freaking invasive surgery, guys. Like, it's a hardcore surgery, which then causes damage to obviously your stomach and your gallbladder. Everybody's in this little housing here. It's all together, your liver, your kidneys, your gallbladder, all of your stuff. It's all squished together. So when you're cutting into one thing, you're going to damage another. So we look at this and we say, okay, that's creating an issue. Interesting, elevated levels of oxalates in the blood and the urine. Essentially what was happening was that the damage that was being done to the gallbladder in turn and the stomach created issues with digestion. So we're not having, the signals are not going out for bile production. We have less bile production. Perhaps we have sluggish bile production. It's causing an issue because we need bile. Bile is super duper important. Stay with me here because I'm going to explain this in a little bit. This also is going to pertain to people who don't have a gallbladder, because yes, you may be still producing bile, but not adequate enough amounts of it for it to bind and do what it's supposed to do. Well, what does our bile do? Anybody that has a high-fat diet has probably heard about bile. And when you have your gallbladder out, your doctor says, oh, watch the fats, but forgets to tell you to take bile, as in ox bile, which, non-negotiable across the board, patients who have had their gallbladder removed should be taking bile, ox bile. It's a non-negotiable for me. I always advise my patients to take it because it's going to help. Because while you've lost the holding cell for your bile, doesn't mean that you're not producing it. You're just not producing adequate enough amounts of it anymore. So we got to top it up. Okay, so I'm going to say it louder for the folks in the back. What does bile do? It helps us to utilize the fats in our diet, to absorb them, to break them down, do all the stuff we need to do with the fats that are in our diet. If we don't have adequate bile, we're not doing what we're supposed to do with the fats. What happens to the fats? They go rogue and we basically shit them out. So that's not ideal. What we're also going to be pooping out is our calcium. That's a problem. You see, calcium binds to oxalate. Causes this whole no harm, no foul thing where we are just going to basically pass the oxalates out and through the body. Unless there's an excess of oxalates, which is an issue. Where would that come from, though? Could it come from the blueberries and the spinach that you put into your smoothies with your almond milk every single day? Could it? Hint. Yes, it could. So when patients come to me and they have malnutrition, malabsorption, maladaptation, all of that, calcium issues and osteoporosis, because you're not getting the calcium, because now the calcium is being pooped out, you're not binding the oxalates, your fat and your calcium are getting just boop, boop, gone, and so you don't have the fat for the fat-soluble vitamins. Again, That's not great for the nutrients, creating nutrient deficiencies. It's like your system is broken. So you have gut issues, you've got dysbiosis, you've got bile issues, and then you've got digestive issues, you've got issues in your small and your large intestine, your poop thins out, you've got absorption issues, utilization issues. It's like a cascade, this nasty cascade, and your body just doesn't know how to fight back. So then you have this overabundance of oxalate throughout the body that's just wreaking havoc on everything. Think of it like shards of glass that are just out and about throughout your bloodstream, getting into all of your soft tissues. They can get into your brain, you can get into your heart, your lungs, they get into everything, everywhere. Oxalates literally cause massive issues throughout your entire body. You've got, your achy jaw, itchy eyes, aching bones. Like, oxalates are a bitch. They're horrible. If you're following the previous post that I did on this, because this is a series and this is number 3 in the series, you'll learn even more about oxalates. So you might want to check into those ones as well as watching this video. My next video is going to actually be on the MTHFR methylation issue and how it has to do with oxalates as well. It's a doozy, folks. So if you're liking my content, please, please, please share it, like it, subscribe, do all of that stuff. And hit me up with questions if you have them. I am happy to help. I have an oxalate protocol. I also have a low oxalate and carnivore diet protocol. So if you're not sure how to transition, let me know. I would love to help. And if you want a more in-depth kind of explanation as to what I just went over in this video, because I try to keep them fairly short if I can, head on over to my website, hollywarnerhealth.com, and it's written all out. I put everything into one article, so it's in one spot. The methylation issues, your gallbladder issues, your leaky gut issues, all of it, all in one tiny little casing, and you can just read it at your leisure. You can save it. I don't do the email list thing, so there's no point in subscribing to that. But definitely subscribe to my YouTube. Check out my Facebook page. It's Holly Warner Health across the board. I'm not much for Twitter, but I am there and occasionally do pump things onto that as well. But YouTube is the place to be. So come and find me, like, subscribe, follow, hit the bell, get notifications, send me the love, hit the likes. You can hit the thumb down if you don't like it. That's totally okay. But if you don't like it and you do hit the thumbs down, could you please leave me a comment? Because I would love to know what it is that you don't like. And if you say it's my hair, you're an idiot. Or maybe it is my hair. You don't have to like my hair. It's fine. It's a bad hair day, and I'm okay with that. See you later, folks.